Hi, it's Kathy from Raven Vintage. Welcome back to my craft room. Come on in. I saved everybody a spot. I'm looking forward to crafting with you today. It's a gray day and this will cheer me up. I know it will. I can hardly wait for winter to be gone. I'm so over it. And if you are new here, we are in the middle of 100 ways to use scraps. Believe it or not, we're on project 40. Now, if you are just joining now, you can catch up pretty quickly. Not that there's no reason to be caught up either. You can just do this at your own time. My videos will always be here when you're ready. But here we are at project number 40. And if you are new, the format is through the week. I do shorter videos with just one project for that video that day. And on Saturdays, we do about 3 projects. And it's a longer format video on Saturdays. So that way we can finish 100 projects in about 70 days. So we should wrap this up the end of April if you're following along and keeping up. So yesterday we did the pull string reveal. And today, last one in this section, the interactive, we're doing a fold over journal card. And then tomorrow we're going to move on to collage and master boards. So like many of my projects, it has a strange kind of name, fold over journal card. Journal cards, there's a million ways to make journal cards, but the reason I called it a fold over journal card is because I want you to remember those 2 things. I want you to remember to use these long strips that you can fold in half, so it's a reminder of what to do with these guys, these end cuts we call them. And over, fold over, the reason I called it that is that I want you to remember that this fold over journal card can be used to hang over the top of our page over, or you could hang it over a belly band, or you could hang it over a pocket so it's got a flip. Here's another example. We did this envelope, peekaboo window envelope, and it flips out, so you could also hang that over top of that little envelope there. So remember those 2 words, fold and over. So that's the reminder of today, or the reason I named this the way I did today. I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about what side of the paper do I score to get this beautiful creased, rounded edge that helps to reduce the chance of cracking your paper, because we manipulate the fibers using our scoreboard. So let's use this one for example. This is 11 inches long or wide, whatever you want to call it, and half would be 5.5. Well, this thing just happens to be 5.5. So when I put this down to score, do I score this side, or do I flip it over and score this side? Which is the best way to score? So I'm going to let you know how I remember it. I'm sure you have your ways of remembering it, but for someone that's new, here's how I remember it. When we score our paper, we are pushing down into the paper, manipulating the fibers gently so that the fibers kind of gently break apart. And this is why scoring is a good idea as opposed to just simply folding something. If you just were to fold that and crease it, which also works, but you stand the chance of cracking those fibers, all the fibrous bits of the paper. And if you do a gentle scoring on the paper, it gently manipulates those fibers, bends those fibers, and eventually they'll break apart where they need to, but it's less aggressive than doing a fold and burnish. Okay, now which side? Here's how I remember. So when we make a score into the paper, we are essentially creating a bit of a valley in the paper. We're making an indent into the paper. So think of it like this. This is the valley. Actually, I'm going to show you this way. Here's the valley. Now, the proper way to fold is to fold away from the valley. So here's your V, your deep V of the score line you just made. The proper thing to do is to fold away from the valley. Okay, so if that were the case and I made my score line, I want to fold away from the valley. not into the valley. I want to fold away from the valley. So if I were to do this, what does that tell you? What side am I creasing on? I'm creasing on the colored side, the outside. So watch this. So we make a crease gently back and forth. It's best not to be too aggressive, but just gently back and forth. So we've manipulated those fibers, softened the fibers. Now I have this valley in my paper, and I want to fold away or away from the valley like this. And now I have this beautiful rounded edge without this cracky look. See, this is a little bit cracked. This is a lot smoother. That's the way you do it, and your paper lays flatter. And then you can give yourself your crease. So gently, so you've got this nice rounded, and now it lays nice and flat. Do you see the difference? See how nice and flat that lays? So remember that song, "From this valley they say we are going." I don't know the words. Just remember the Red River Valley. That song, that one. That's how I remember it. You're leaving the valley. Bye-bye valley. Remember the Red River Valley. From this valley they say we are going. So away, get away from the valley. I don't know. That might be a little too much information, but that is how I remember. Okay, so now we have a nice fold. So these ones are a little bit too long. So let me just trim these. So another great mass make project. And another great way to add writing space to our journals. Okay, so I have various sizes. I took a bunch of those end cuts and did some quick scoring. So I have smaller ones, longer ones, like this. But one thing that is really nice to do is to round our corners, of course, on a journaling card. And because something is folded, you can still round your corners so it just looks like a journaling card. So you can see very quickly, you have these all just look like journaling cards, but the surprise is, of course, that they are folded in half, and now we have all this wonderful writing space, plus it decorates 2 pages at once, front and back. By hanging this over the top, I have decorated 2 sides of a page. So depending on what is on, that side. Here's a narrow page. Be really cute on something like that on both sides. Right? And if you didn't want it sliding around your journal or falling out, that would be a great opportunity to do a hidden paper clip and secure it, or just use a regular paper clip. So today I'm going to actually just make a quick belly band using scraps, of course. And I'm going to do it up a little bit high here. Make some sort of a belly band. So yesterday when we were doing the sliding element with the string, I demonstrated one with a fella that I turned into an angel, and instead of moving him, I moved the wings in behind him. And I want to thank Doreen Ball for the reminder to use, that was this guy here. I want to thank Doreen for the reminder to use those little foam squares I could have put under him to lift him up a little higher, so that would not interfere with the, would help the butterfly glide a little better. So thank you for that, Doreen. Appreciate it. I love reading your tips, guys. And I do have those, and I'll just have to remember where they are. Where I have them stored. I haven't completed my inventory yet. I'm not sure if you guys have seen my video on organizing my craft room from January. I've participated with Kara Brandon the last 2 years in January for your craft room reset or refresh. But I show how I do, this is the geek in me, but I show how I do a mock-up of my craft room, like my cube shelf. So I use my computer and draw out a cube shelf, and then I can, with pencil, write what's in every compartment so that I can find things easier in my craft room. I haven't completed it yet, but it is in the works. Okay, so any one of these, let's pick one that's going to show up nicely. Like this. And it just is going to fold over, and then it's going to hang on a belly band. Now you can, of course, like I said, we can reinforce this with some tea-dyed paper to give it a little more heft. I just love working with tea-dyed paper. Just love it. Okay, get rid of that. So if you're starting out with designer paper already, you may not need or wish to decorate the outside, but of course you always could decorate the outside of your journal card. A journal card can be a million different things. It can be a postcard, it could be an index card, it could be a photo, it could be, I think really what makes a journaling card is the fact that you can write on it. So typically it's on the back of something, but in this case it's on the inside, and it's double duty. So I've got double the writing space I've added. It's thickened up a little bit because I've added the paper inside, but it still has a really nice fold to it, and it's not going to interfere with our journal too much. So like I said, you can go ahead and decorate. Put this little guy in here. Something. Like this. You could certainly decorate the outside of your journal card with something. 100%. You can do stamping, all the things. Okay, so this is number 40, and that concludes our interactive section. That was fun. I think now moving into the collage and masterboards section, we are really going to use up a lot of our scraps in this next section. So as far as scrap busters go, that is definitely, you're going to see those scrap bins diminish a little bit. So great mass make project. I'm going to toss these into my box, my shoe box. And it's been a while since we did a scrap sorting tip, so I thought I would do that today. Just move this out of the way. When you have a bunch of scraps like this that are odd little chunks and shapes, of course you could save those for, you know, corner pockets and all the things. But you see how we have this kind of business where we've cut something out in an odd shape. One scrap busting tip might be this. I'm going to take a few of these that are the same kind of issue. Maybe the same size. Those two are kind of the same size. That one's kind of the same size. Those right there are basically the same size. I'm just going to, and see how they're all just wonky, right? I am going to take this align two of the good sides, and I am going to simply make this into something that is usable. So for example, I'm going to line those all up at the bottom. I'm going to pick a point that looks, I don't know, like a decent journaling card, since we're on journaling cards. A decent journaling card size. I'm going to cut those, and then I'm going to turn this. Now immediately I have, you know, these are great backgrounds for journaling cards. Oh, there's a white space. I would end up cutting that off, but these are great for tags, journaling cards. Right away we have something a little more usable, and now I have something that looks a little bit more corner pocket size. These guys could be a corner pocket onto a corner pocket. Like you could layer your pockets, which is also very fun. So decide if you want to hang on to these or not, or keep cutting things down. For example, I'll do it with the next one. So as I will keep this guy. So immediately let's just trim that off into something usable. This you could keep as a fold, booklet, notebook, something, or you might immediately just try to size everything into things that you know you will use, or sizes you know you will use. Same with this one. It's been folded a bunch of times. I'm just going to cut right along where the collage is and make a bunch of things that are, like I said, recognizable, usable sizes. Here, I might just, this is more of an ephemera page, but just get rid of this stuff right here. Like we're happy to throw that away, right? Just get things trimmed down to something, and now I can get rid of that. And already my scraps are definitely tidied up. Got my corner bits I want to keep, right? So this already is a more manageable pile. It's just something to do when you are not feeling creative, but you want to do something in your craft room. You want to touch the paper, you want to play with the tools. This is a very satisfying project, and another great way to just use our scraps. So now I have a couple of possible corner pockets here. I have some bigger space things that I might use like for little notebook covers or something, but I am much happier. Those could be on a layered tag. You could put a pocket on a tag. Let's pretend this is a tag. You could glue, let's find something tall. Let's pretend that's a tag. You could glue this onto your tag so you have a slanted pocket on the outside of a tag. So I see right away, I start to see use for this pile, and I'm also inspired like that, like I just thought. And then that triggers some creativity because you're like, oh, I could use that as a slanted pocket on the edge. This is a lot more manageable. I hope that helps. Just something to consider when you've got those things sticking out of your scrap piles that have these weird things. Just tidy them up. Tidy up your scraps into something usable. There we have a nice writing space. And this I can live without. Okay? Just something to consider. That is my scrap busting tip of the day. I know we haven't talked much about how to organize those scraps, but again, trying to elevate our scraps into something instead of a 4-letter word. We want our scraps to be worth something and manageable, and we want to think of them as junk journal supplies instead of just going right to the landfill. We've got some great ideas already. Okay, well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'm excited to start our new section tomorrow. And oh, somebody find some sunshine and send it to Canada, please. Thank you. Take care now. Bye.